And where do you leave Matt Emeritus, the lay chief of Abbotbishop, and Exel Chard of French and German at Loch? They were all so sorry for poor boy Matt in his saltwater hat, with the iron crown, and she grew that out of him, too big for him, over Naples, and his overalls all falling over her in folds. Sure he hadn't the heart in her to pull them up. Poor Matt, the old peregrine matriarch, and the queenly man, the purple blushing upon them, sitting there, the soul of the settlement below ground, for an expiatory rite, in postulation of his cause. Who shall say in her beaver bonnet the king of the Caucasus, a family all to himself under Giza, Themistocles of his multilingual tombstone, like Navaliki, Carmen, and she due to kid, by sweet pea time, with her face to the wall in view of the poorhouse, and taking his rust in the oxide of iron. Under all the auspices, amid the rattle of hailstorms, Carlos spins the chromat greening, with her ivy-clad hood, and gripping an old pair of curling tongs belonging to Mrs. Dunnock O'Connell, to blow his brains with, till the heights of New Highland heard the Bristol hut with his can of tea and a purse of Alfred cakes from Anne Lynch and 2 cuts of Shackleton's brown loaf and dillisk, waiting for the end to come. Gordon Heeland, when you think of it, the mirth the dirther, it was too bad entirely. All devoured by Act of Parliament, laudable litter of women squelching on all account of the smell of shakelettin, and Scratchman and his mouth watering acid and alcoholic, signs on the salt, and so now pass the loaf for Christ's sake. Amen, and so and all. Matt and loaf, so that was the end, and it can't be helped. God be good to us. Poor Andrew Martin Cunningham take breath. Aye. And still at all that time of the dynast days of old Conning, Sotterick, Sulkin board, and Barger Muster Bart, when they struck coil and shock haunts in the old Hungerford on Mudway, where first I met the old poetric. Flied for May and the Finnan haddies, and the Knoll sharks and the Muck Stales turtles, like an acoustic pottage, and the grey super bullion, and how he pulled him up his pocket of water and got a big buzz for his name in the air, Wick's honours from home. Colonies and empire they were always with assisting grace thinking up, and not forgetting about Shims and Shalswick. In all lang syne, up therefore, horse and bands that were 4 up beautiful sister misters, how happily married unto old Goldstone Valley, and there they were always counting and contradicting every night. 'Tis early the lovely mother of periwinkle buttons, according to the lapper part of their anachronism, up 1, up 2, up 1, up 4, and after that there now she was in the end, the dearly sold powder, and all the but 4 sisters, and that was her mud-hen Republican name right enough, from Alum and Oves, and they used to be getting up from under, in their tapered straw garlands, with all her worries awake in their hair, at the Kookaburra bell ringing, all wrong inside of them, come in, come on. You lazy loafs all inside, their poor old Shandon bell box, come out to hell, you lousy lout, so frightened, from the clan of all, like Knochnays bumps, by the Fisterman Straits. Yes, at all hours every night on their mistletoes, the 4 old Ulsters to see once the Transton postscript come with their Orkersons, under their arm-saxters, all puddled and mythified the way the wind wheeled the school around, when nobody wouldn't even let them rusten from playing their gastspiels, crossing their sleep by the shocking silence, when they were in dreams of yore, standing behind the door, or leaning out of the chair, or kneeling under the sofa cover, and setting on the soup tureen, getting into their ways something barbarous, changing the one wet underdown convibrational bed they used to slumber under, when hope was there no more, when putting on their half a hat and falling over all synopticals, and the panegyric and repeating themselves, like Svolovian, like the time they were dodging the talkie-cook that chased them. Look, look all round the stool, walk everywhere for a jewel, to break fire, to all the rances, to collect all the and bits of brown, the Rathura's development, in spirits of time, in all fathom of space, and slooping around in the borneen and bass slippers, and go away to old Patrick and see a Dr. Walker, and after that so glad they had their night tentacles. And there they used to be, flapping and cycling and a-doing and a-doonlop, playing romantically around the waists of the ships, in the wake of their good old Fawn again, as tired as they were, at their wind-swiths in the waves' lengths, the clipper built and the 5 foremasters and lally of the cleft oft, bag of dirts and row of the fair cheats, exchanging fleas from host to host, with Arthroposophia, and he selling him before he forgot, isle, after having prealably deflegmatized his gutterful of throaty frogs with a lungeable thong in his suck-mouth ear, while the deer invoked to the cool and dare by the palper brows, lift no doubt in his mind, till he was instant and he was trustin', sister soul in brother hand, the subjects being their passion grand, that one fresh from the cow about Aithny, Maithny married a meld, and that one too from Revorken Saga, a booth, a goose, a gev, a gothany egg, and the parkside pranks of quality queens, Cata efter kinner, for Earl Hoovestone, choosing and Huber and Harmon, oh how, when. The Eponthos a salt of binoculises. Memotit must egotum subconsciously sensus uppers the de profundity of multi-mathematical immaterialities, where bejubers in the pan-cosmic urge, the allomanence of that which itself is itself alone. Here, oh here, Carla Erin exteriorizes on this our here now plane, in disunited solid liquid and gushes bodies with science, say, peril whitened, passion panting, pugno-plangent, intuitions of reunited selfdom, murky way abstrue dim, in the high dimensional selfless, all self-deeming nasty me thing. Idleness and telling Jolly Macaulay, dear Master John the belated dishevelled, hacking away at the parchment pied, and all the unalienists, the steamships and the ladies foursome over and for. Ned and four dinkety-duck, down a lopping howlong tandem, like a 4 tired schoolmasters and their pair of green eyes, and peering in, so they say, like the narcolept on the lakes of Coma, through the steamy windows into the honeymoon cabins on board the big steamadories, made by Fru Midori and the saloon ladies, adorned toilet chambers, lined over prawn silk and rub off the salty katara off her windows, and he, listening qua committee, the poor old Quakers, opened the door to see all the honeymooners and the first-class ladies, serious me, alas, spring as you fancy, and sheets far from the lad, courting in blankets, aunt familiars, and she, all improper in a lovely morning toilet, for the rose crumpler, the thrilled driver, the sighing spider with that olive throb in his nude neck, and swaying and saying, thanks ever so much for the tiny quote, which sort of made everything ling again, so very much more delight a fairly, and the perfectly sweet of her boot filly, yours and all their familiarities, by preventing grace forgetting to say their grace before Chambadori, before going to boat with the vergers of the chapel of the opening of the month of Nema Natchet. So pass the poet for grace sake, amen. And all, he, quaking so fright, and she, shaking aching eye. For it was then a pretty thing happened of pure diversion mayhap, when his flattering hand at the just right moment, like perchance some cook of courage, might clip the lad on a poot of porridge, hand shut his duck-house, the vivid girl, deaf with love, sure you know her, our angel being one of romance's fadeless Wonder Woman, and sure now we all know you dote on her, even unto date, with a queer decree of Joyce crisis, which really united, they're disunited, with ripey leps and ropey lopes and dear oh dears, and the golden importunity of Alufa's leaf time, when, as quick as greased pigskin, Amoricus Champius with one arrogant thrust drew the massive of virile victory, flushed into both lines of forwards. Ebernia's down, boys, right jing bank shot into the goal under of her gullet. Alvis. And now upright and Adam, and please be honest, and pull it into yourself. As on man or woman do another, candidately everybody, a mote for a mote. Come on, men and dour, there was this, well you may call her, a strapping modern old ancient Irish princess, so-and-so hands high, such and such paddock weight. In a mad pollen smock, nothing under her hat but red hair, and solid ivory, now you know it's true in your heart of hearts, and a first-class pair of bedroom eyes, of most unhomely blue. How weak we are, one and all, the charmer favours fond consent. Could you blame her, we're saying, for one so cold logic moment? What would you do with that so tiresome old milkless ram with his tiresome duty peck, and his bronchial tubes, the tiresome old hairy Goran beaver in his tiresome old 26 and sexpenny, Shearbud's plod drowsers with his 30 bob and 9 penny tails plus stoop? Haga Grustio, and it were too exceedingly really if one was to offer at sulk an old individual a pinch of hinge hit, the mainest thing ever since Edom was in the Borg, no ava. No, the dear heaven knows, and the father from it. If the whole stale must be told, whoever the gulpable and whatever the pulpus was, the two togethered, and giving the most passionable weathers, they were doing a lolly, a lolly, a dither, a dother, one lelly, two dather, three lily, four dother, and it was 5 full moment for the poor old time-tetters, tick-tacking in tenk the count, till the spark that plugged spared the chokey. He gripped and volatile volupty, how breathed are thy lungerings? They could and they could hear like of a lisp, lapsing, that was her night of the truce, song clipping out of her chapel doisy, after where he had gone and pulped the questioned, plop. And now it was twally terrific, the murmur of jubes, and then after they had used to be so forgetful, counting mother, pair of butts, Up one and up fall to them bore her, bow through mould and maiden name, for overflowing by the dream of woman the own iris, third 40 lands, from Greg and Doug and poor Greg and Matt and Ma and Lou and Joe, now happily buried over for, and there she was right enough, that lovely sight enough, the girl in ball as Thor. As for days galore of Plankstick, Gregory, Eggery, oh punk it not, Orwin, aye. But sure that reminds me now like another tell-ma story, repeating yourself how they used to be, and let it is love. At the end of it all, at that time up, always tired and all, after doing their mouse work and making it up after over their community singing up the top loft of the voice box of Marmaludru like the senior follies and Murder McGrees squatting around 2 by 2. The 4 Confederates with Caxtons as the coxswain, up the air register in old man's house, Millennium Road, crowding themselves in laurel branches with their cold knees and their poor up quadrupeds oversleep, and all dolled up for their blankets and maternity mufflers and plimsolls and their bowl of brown shackle, and milky and Bowterham clots and portion a piece a portion, a lepel a lip, a lup a lap, for a cup of kindness yet, with whole take hand and nurse and only touch of 8, a lovely monkey bound, and for smell and wait the pinch and prompt poor Marcus Lyons to be not be heeding the skillet on for the live of the ghosses, but to pass the teeth for choke's sake. Ah, mensch, when it so happens they were all sycamores and by the world forgot, since the phlegmish Hooperkoff, for all are posabled after 8 a bad cramp, and Johnny Maggaries and back scrat, the poor bedsores and the farthing dip, their casual pandle of magnegosium, and read a letter or 2 every night before going to do a sleep trance, with their catkin quaffs in the twilight, a capital letter for further auspices on the old 1 page, Codex Book of Old Year's Eve, 1132 MMLJ Old Style, there sunk us more by his fellow girl, the Mrs. Sheemans, in her summy-seal house ensemble with the caracal broadtail, her totem in tutu, final buff noon meal edition in the regatta covers. Up tenable from the author for to regule their reeves by incubation, and lally through their gangrene spectacles and all the good, or they did in their time, the rigorists for Row o' McConroy, a Conry up Mull, a Lap ap Moyen, and Buffalo ap Matty McGregory for Marcus on Podex by Daddy DeWire, old bag of broth beeves, and scullocks, churls, and vassals in same sept and severalty, and one by one and sing a Marmaludru, to the heroest champion of Erin, and his brace so Landers and Gowan and gone. And after that, now in the future, please God, after non-penal start, all repeating ourselves, in medios logos, from where he got a useful arm busy on the touchline, due south of her western shoulder down to death and the love embrace, with an interesting tallow complexion and all united, sans familiars letters ran on to say Oramus prayer and homely sweet homely, after fully realizing the gratifying experiences of highly continental evidence, for Meter and Peter to Temple and Ensley, for all the acquaintance to Peregrine and Michael and Farfasa, and Peregrine for navigants at Peregrine Tarbis. In all the old Imperial and Fiannacan sea, and for Vogue a swallow, to a miss, yes, you fascinator, you sing a love esteemed Dorian to ladies' eyes. Here's Trix and Dolzy, delightfully ours in a doughty ducky little blue, and roll his hoop and how she ran, when wit worn free and dimply blissed and awfully bucked, right glad we never shall forget, though the day's gone, still they love young dreams. The old Luke with his kingly leer, so wealth worth watching, and Sencus more possessed of evident notoriety, and another more of the big-timers, to name no others, of whom great things were expected in the filming department, for the lives of Lazarus and old Luke Zine, and she held her Kobuko say hey het on the praise Sabahol Shanghai. Here, oh here is Salt Labelle, Tristan sad hero, here. The Langbeg drum, the Lombeg reed, the Lumbag fifara, the Lumbibag Brazadaise. Anno Domini, Nostri Sanctu Jesus Christ. 999 million pounds sterling in the blue-black bowels of the Bank of Ulster. Bawbees and good gold pounds. Galore, my girline, Sunday'll prank thee finely. And no damn lout'll come courting thee. Oh, by the mother of the Holy Ghost, there'll be murder. Oh, come all ye sweet nymphs of Dingle Beach to cheer Brine, a bride queen from Sybil Surf Redding, in her career of shells of daughter of pearl, and her silvery blue mantle round her. Crown of the waters, brine on her brow, she'll dance them a jig, and jilt them fairly. Yea, why should she bide with Sig's sloomy sides, or the grogram grey, barnacle gander? You won't need to be lonesome, Lizzie, my love, when your beau gets his glut of cold meat and halt soldiering, nor wake in winter window meshery, but snore sung in my old Balbriggan surtout. Wisher, won't you agree now to take me from the middle, say, of next week on, from the balance of my days for nothing what, as your own nurse attender? Her power of high steppers died game right enough, but who Akushla 'll beg coppers for you? I tossed that one long before any one. It was of a wet Good Friday too she was ironing, and as I'm now to understand, she was always mad gone on me. Grand goose greasing we had entirely within all night. I'd a down-bed picnic to follow. By the cross of Cong, says she, rising up Saturday in the twilight from under me, Mick the maggot, or whatever your name is, you're the most likeable lad that come my ways, yet from the barony of Bohemore. Matthew Markahugh, Lookahugh, John Hee-Hee-Wee-Hugh, Ho. And still a light moves along the river, and still the mermen ply their keg. Its pith is full, the way is free, their lot is cast. So, to John for a John, John a James, let it be.